Last time you guys saw us, we had just made our way from Daly Waters to just over an hour out of Darwin. And while we've been having an absolute blast, we're out of water and our brakes are cooked. In this video, we'll be making our way to Darwin to take the van for a service, as well as explore Darwin and the surrounding areas.
I have to say, all the rest areas have had a lot of bins, as well as dump points, and some even have toilets. One of the nights, I think it was one of the first nights we were in the Northern Territory, at around 10:30 at night, we heard a truck, or what seemed like a truck or bus, pull up. And we were right, it was a truck, and it was actually the bin man emptying the bins. That is dedication.
So we've come out to the termite mounds, and I didn't expect to be impressed, if I'm honest, because I think from outback Queensland, right, maybe on the second day, we started seeing termite mounds everywhere. And it's been all through outback Queensland and all through the Northern Territory. It stopped for a little bit and then it started coming back. These are actually magnetic termite mounds, so it's made by the magnetic termites. And these guys actually build these on the north to south axis, and that's because then one side will always be in shade, and that's to keep it cool. And if they built them the other way, then it would get super, super, super hot in there. And that's how they deal with the extremes of the weather out here, because they get the floods and then the really harsh sun. It's like these flat, they're like tombstones, kind of. And then way over at the start, we'll go look at it, they've actually got a mound from cathedral termites, which is totally different. They're not flat, they're not built on the axis, and they're totally different, but we'll show you that. All right, any thoughts, Wehan?
Seen through the avenues of miserable and stunted gums, they constitute a new depressant to the outlook.
Who was that by? Randolph?
Rudolph, I think.
Randolph?
Oh yeah, Randolph.
So
Bedford.
that's what Randolph,
the politician,
Bedford.
He wasn't very favourable to the termite mounds, so.
He wasn't a fan. He
Nah.
said it was depressing.
What
do you actually think?
I kind of get it, because it's like, it does look like
It makes it seem more
it looks like a
deserty
graveyard
and
cemetery, because it is quite tombstoney, but.
So we saw the main cathedral termite mound, but here's another one.
Oh yeah.
Just off the side. Look how big it is. Go stand next to it.
Like onto a tree or
Ta-da! Don't stand too close, they'll eat you.
I know. I don't want to keep the van there in the car
They'll
park for too long, because scared they'll get a new home. They're like, oh, you know what? It's quite nice then.
They eat all the wood at the van. That'll be just our luck, eh?
Yeah.
So we made it to Florence Falls. Wehan's got a hitchhiker.
No.
But we can.
The closer it gets to northern WA, the worse it's gonna get.
Yeah.
WA, the flies
get hectic. We're already starting to get a few hitchhikers, but we can already hear the waterfall. We're not even at the lookout yet.
I feel like the Northern Territory, right? You know, like in cartoons and stuff, where it's like people get stranded in the desert, and then they see off in the distance, they see these like paradise or like.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what the Northern Territory
they imagine
is.
it.
It's just the desert, and then it's just a whole bunch of these water holes that don't feel like they should be here.
Yeah.
And I kind of get why they're so popular, because it's so bloody hot.
It's so hot.
Like, we're in dry season, but it's winter in Australia, and it's bloody hot here.
They say that the rocks actually soak up the water in wet season, and then in dry season it continues to feed the waterfalls and creeks, so they're still flowing. That's so cool. It's so funny because, like Wehan said, it feels really out of place having a waterfall here, but all the surrounding area, driving through, walking in, everything, is dry and crispy and brown, and then all around the waterfall is this lush green,
very vibrant,
almost has a rainforest vibe.
Yeah.
And I really didn't expect that. The surrounds are just stunning. Car park is absolutely packed. I'm a little worried about what the next spot is going to be like.
So we've done this big stretch of driving. I'm just joking.
We've been going hours.
Hours and hours. No, this national park's actually pretty good. Everything's pretty closer together.
I would say if we stopped at every single stop, it would be max like 10 minutes between everything.
I mean, this one was like, oh yeah, I get.
Because there were other ones as well.
But we've come to probably the most popular spot of this whole national park, and that is Wangi Falls. And you can tell that it's the most popular spot because the car park is bloody huge. We're gonna go check it out, but before we go check it out, I think it's pretty important to note that there was an attack here, a crocodile attack, about a year ago. A salty crocodile attack.
Yes.
And nothing, well, not fatal. The guy did sustain some injuries. But Lydia had a look.
There's a guy contracted who processes any, I believe it's only male crocodiles over a certain size.
I think it's like 2 point under.
I think it's over 2 meters. They process them.
Yeah.
At this guy.
And to give you guys an idea, there's a buttload of crocodiles here in the Northern Territory because this guy processed, I think he said 94.
In 4 months?
In 3 or 4 months, and he said that's a pretty below average or typical season, so, and it was pretty quiet. So there's loads of crocodiles. I think. And that attack happened when it was super busy, super full.
Everyone was in there
everyone was swimming
and
and like rushing to try and get out. So these crocodiles, they are very good at hiding themselves. I mean, even Clyde in Queensland.
Oh yeah.
He was fairly decently sized now that we've seen a lot of crocodiles, like probably bigger than 4.5. And he just disappeared.
As soon as he went in the water.
As soon as he went in water. Yeah. They're one of the most interesting creatures alive.
They're awesome.
And yeah, I think they're not a force to be reckoned with.
Was that a really long-winded way of saying we're not swimming here?
Potentially.
I should add really quickly as well, the Northern Territory does have a lot of measures to try keep these swimming areas safe. They have traps out, and any sightings, they have to shut down the site. And I think they do 3 days of monitoring and getting whatever animal is spotted out, and then actually just monitoring and checking for anything else.
With that said, it's pretty hard to spot them, and also the guy who preps the crocodiles said that you're kind of taking the risk. Any waterways or anything in Northern Territory, there is that risk. There's no
he said they can pretty much get anywhere. Like there are so many, and when they want to get somewhere, they'll get somewhere. So Northern Territory government, and I'm sure Queensland is the same, really do their best at trying to mitigate the risk, but we are in croc country, so. Spotted it through the trees, and it is so much higher than we expected. We are bamboozled. I thought it was way lower.
That is insane.
Maybe it's the perspective because we're right under it. But
no, I was expecting it to be tiny. Far out.
Yeah, same. It's so much higher than I thought. Probably similar to yesterday, maybe a little bit warmer. Refreshing. I may just stay on the ladder, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very similar landscape. And so I kind of expected that. It's just the waterfall's a lot closer.
There are definitely bats here. I can hear them. Oh my gosh, can you see it?
Yeah, there's another one there.
They're so cute.
That's a really big bat.
It's awesome. It's super tropical around us. There's bats behind us, and the waterfalls are so impressive.
The waterfalls are probably the nicest.
Some of the nicer ones we've seen. We somehow ended up on this forest walk because we followed the sounds of the bats. You can probably hear them. They're so loud. But it was you knocking something. There was something in the bush next to us.
No.
But I guess it's time we head back.
Yeah.
Because we've somehow ended up on a trail following the bats.
So it's been a while since we picked up the camera, and that's because as we're traveling, a lot of things don't go to plan. We were hoping to stay at CMCA in Humpty Doo, which is just outside of Darwin, and it's a lot cheaper than a lot of caravan parks. And before we lost signal, we did give them a call and they said, yeah, we have a lot of availability, blah, 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 just rock up. It will be good. And then we kind of went radio silent, had no signal for a couple of days. And when we got there, they were fully booked. So we had to kind of ad hoc make a plan. Luckily, we were able to get a caravan park, a caravan site, should I say, not a caravan park, in Darwin at the Big Four. And it's actually pretty cool here. And it's $55 a night, which is a lot cheaper than...
Too bad.
It's not too bad, but it's still pretty bad.
And we got here like 30 minutes before.
Yeah, we got here 30 minutes before reception closed, and all of a sudden we just heard like jets and everything fly overboard, and it was just so ridiculous and loud and whatnot. But it was cool to see. And then, yeah. I think everything caught up to us with all the stress of everything happening the last couple of days, and we kind of just took a moment, reset, and I made comfort food because we haven't eaten today. So we have pizza now. We're gonna eat and then get prepared for tomorrow because we need to take the van in for service, and then also explore Darwin, which is exciting. Before I forget, here's pizza. It's pretty thick in cheese today because we haven't eaten all day, so figured why not. One more thing. I was going to make a note before we got to Darwin how I was expecting Northern Territory to be a lot more humid, and if you can't tell from the background, as soon as we hit Darwin, all of a sudden it became humid. So the aircon is blasting, so I'm very thankful that we have a powered site so we can actually use the aircon throughout the night and have a lovely night's sleep. So we just dropped the van off at St. John Ambulances, which sounds really weird to say, but apparently they're the best with sprinters and stuff, which, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I was about to say, they were very highly recommended.
Yeah.
So we're getting it serviced with them. We're always uneasy getting our van serviced, if that's the right word. And I guess it's because it's our house.
Yeah.
It always feels horrible leaving the van.
Yeah,
so
it does.
Hopefully it all goes well and doesn't cost an arm and a leg. But we took an Uber because I think the drive out here was 10 minutes into Darwin, and then walking would be an hour and a half. So we took an Uber in. I think we're going to spend the day exploring the city and checking out Darwin and making the most of it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're at our first stop and I'm super excited. They've already opened, so I'm hoping we can still get in. Let's go see.
I'm sure we can.
So just drop it straight down.
Okay. So here.
Look how punchy.
Oh my gosh. Are you frightened? Just hold it in, they won't bite you.
Yeah, my famous word.
To hold it up, they'll jump more and be more chaotic. You just have to hold it in, they're hungry. Look at them.
They don't like crust.
They don't like the crust.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Just hold it in like that.
Line up.
They're all coming over now, they're hungry.
The bed is soggy.
They've thrown donuts out and now I feel like there is way more fish. They must like the donuts.
They're going nuts for the donuts. And I don't blame them.
I mean, same. Everything I saw online about this place said it was overpriced. Is it overpriced? Maybe. Am I entertained? Absolutely. It is so chaotic. We've been here, what, like an hour now? And I just keep grabbing bread and feeding them. I'm so entertained. It's absolute chaos, but there are so many different types of fish. This is so unique. I'm buzzing.
With that said,
Yeah.
aquariums are like what, like $40
True.
per person admission. And then I feel like you look at a lot of sharks and fish and whatnot, and the highlight's always the touch pool, right?
Yeah.
It's always the interactivity.
The interactive parts are usually
Yeah, usually the best and the highlights. So
I'm so entertained.
$15 per adult. I think it's like 5 or 10 for kids. So I mean, if you have kids, it's definitely
I think I've literally
very
fed them
cheap.
maybe like 10 bread rolls. I've fed
Yeah.
them like a whole
you probably
stack.
$30 worth of bread.
Yeah, probably.
But
It's so
there's so
entertaining.
many fish here, and the reason for it, right? You might be thinking, what? So it's just like a glorified like fishing place? No.
Yeah,
There's
'cause-
like a whole history to it.
So when I saw it, I thought, oh, these people just feed it and now the fish come here. But apparently the guy who used to live here he was a really, not popular, but he was a really, I don't know the word. He was an Australian diver who was used for a lot of big diving jobs, and he actually lived here. And he thought, oh, I'm going to start feeding the fish because then I can have them for dinner. He started feeding them thinking it would be an easy way to catch fish. Turns out he never actually ended up eating any of them.
Or catching any of
And
them.
if anyone asked him about it, he said, one does not eat one's friends.
Yeah, so in other words, you know that movie, Finding Nemo? Fish are friends, not food.
Not food.
So,
Yeah, he never ate any of them.
yeah.
But now
And,
it continues. I
we-
think they said he was doing it in the
I think it's like
1950s,
Yeah.
and then they've been running this now and kept up that tradition of daily feeding since the 1964, I think
Yeah.
they said.
And like, there's so many protected areas along here as well, and this is one of the protected areas. So, not allowed fishing, not allowed to like do anything. It's like it's protected. The fish are protected under law. And with that said, there's a fisherman just off the coast.
Yeah, we ended up taking
Yes.
photos of him and then
Well,
helping.
they asked us to take photos of them, and we
Yeah.
had to. Well, we helped out, and hopefully the fisheries will come and sort it out. Because yeah, it's such a shame. It should really be protected because it is unique and it is special.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like this is such a good start. I really expected this to be overrated, but
yeah.
I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more unique and fun activities that we've done in a CBD.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect this in a city.
The owners or managers are so cute.
They are.
Because we helped out, they gave us a little.
Yeah.
Thank
They
you.
just came over and grabbed our names and took photos of our photos, and we're going to email them through of the illegal fishing guy because they're putting in an incident report at the fisheries. So, and they gave us this. I'm going to have to put it in my mom's garden when we get back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even our Uber driver said that he didn't know that this place even existed until the other day when he picked someone up from here, and he's moving to the Gold Coast soon, and Lydia's coming more
I got
bread.
more bread. I was so excited.
And he said that now that he knows this place exists, He's definitely going to have to check it out before he moves to the Gold Coast.
I guess we have to go. I think we've been here like 2 hours.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's a 3-hour session, so they do it based on tide. So the time varies each day and each season and each month and whatever. So you have to check it every day. I think today was a pretty long session. It was 8 till
11 or 11:30 or something like that. Yeah.
But we've been here ages, so I guess we should keep
Yeah, otherwise it'd be kicked out.
Honestly, I'm going back on it.
It did exceed my expectations.
I think worth the money because it totally exceeded my expectations and I'm so entertained.
Yeah. Whoa!
I think we should go.
They just amaze me. Every time you look at them, you're like, geez, it's so big or agile and quick, and it's just, they're beautiful.
It's funny because Wehan just made a comment about how it feels like Bali, and I realised this is probably the furthest north we've been in Australia on this whole lap so far, and we're probably pretty close to Indonesia right now. So I'm not surprised at why it's so humid and so hot. The air feels sticky here, and we didn't get that out in the more remote outbacky areas. It was just hot. Here it's super humid. But we're walking along the Esplanade. I think it's called the Esplanade, and there's all these really nice lookouts, and there should be a lot of memorials as well. So we're gonna walk along here and check them all out. But the views are crazy here. They're really nice.
Also, there is the fish feeding, and there is a naval base. You can see lots of ships and everything there. Pretty cool.
So Darwin is a city that has been shaped by the war, and you can see that even just driving in, there are so many remnants of the war. And driving in, we went past the World War II airstrips.
Multiple of them.
Multiple. And coming into the city and checking out this area, we knew there would be some war memorials, but we didn't know they would go into as much detail as they did. And the coverage is really incredible and totally exceeded what I expected to be here. But they have one area with just information boards covering this whole lookout, and they are so detailed. Not only is it accounting exactly what happened in the bombings and different events that occurred during the war, it has maps, it has photos, and it has people's own individual recollection of what happened. And it's really great. If you're here, definitely have a walk along this waterfront area and just spend some time reading it and checking it out. But we've been doing that probably for at least an hour now. And I think it's time we go for lunch.
Also, I'm not sure whether it's the fishes or whatever, or the war, the fish, or the walk, but it's so peaceful here in Darwin, and I'm so relaxed. And it's kind of weird to say for a city, because I feel like it's always just a rush and so many people about and whatnot. It's just been so peaceful and laid back.
To be fair, we are walking along the waterfront park section.
Yeah.
But even the city looks different to any city you've ever seen. It's mostly hotels, apartments, all kind of older looking buildings, not the full-on like high-rise buildings you get like the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's really cool.
It's also quite funny because when we were doing research on what to do in Darwin and whatnot, a lot of people live in Darwin for like short periods, and even the Uber driver said it as well. And everyone says that there's not much to do with the Northern Territory or Darwin, but there's a reason why they like it, and no one can really put a finger on it, but there's just a reason, and maybe it's this peacefulness.
I think everyone was saying, I think the Uber driver said it too, that you either love or hate Darwin.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this. So Darwin is known as the Laksa capital of the world. They even have a festival every year, and people compete for the best Laksa award. So we've come out to Chow's to have Laksa because they do gluten-free Laksa, and I'm so excited. It looks so good. Oh, and Wehan has a banh mi. It's really nice. Oh, there's the kick as well. It's really hot though.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Darwin is the Laksa capital, because when you're in such a hot, humid environment, I feel like you'd want light and refreshing. This is like hot and heavy. Oh, the crunch sounded so good.
I'm mostly at carrot then. I'm going to try some chicken.
Nice.
Very refreshing.
Oh, really? Perfect combo then.
Yeah, especially in this weather. So. Peanut.
Definitely tastes hot. It's good?
That's a good spring roll.
Show us. Ooh, yum. It's got a lot of meat in it.
Yeah, it does. We've been waiting here at the waterfront for the van to be done with the service or to hear anything from them, and thought I should have a look at my Google cards, and I come across this article that says that there was a bomb from the Second World War found across from the waterfront and that they detonated it today, which I can't open any articles or anything about it, but hopefully by the time I edit this video I'll find something and I'll put it right here what it was. Didn't hear anything, didn't see anything, but that's just so wild. And also, while looking for it, Lydia found out that there was an earthquake in Indonesia. In Indonesia last night, and it was felt in Darwin and as low as
Catherine. It went all the way
as low as Catherine at 1:30 a.m. And guess what time I woke up? Because I was too hot, and I thought it was because I was too hot. Pretty much 1:30. It was like just before 2 o'clock that I woke up and put the aircon back on in the van. That is wild. I can't.
Did you say we're waiting here while we wait for the van?
Yeah. So apparently the mechanic's just getting quotes on parts, but
We don't
haven't
know
heard
what the
anything
damage
from
is
him yet. So we'll see.